100 Reasons just played their final show ever as a headline band at the Royal Albert Hall in London. Their career has spanned a quarter of a century, and unless they have the odd festival appearance in future as a once-off kind of a thing, this was it. The last gig, the last chance to see them playing a headline show. And what an auspicious occasion. The Royal Albert Hall is an enormous, historic, beautiful venue. And it was so cool to see a band such as 100 Reasons, this fiery indie kind of rock, hard rock band from the UK, having that moment with many thousands of people there, singing, nay, shouting along every word to the big hit songs that we're hoping to hear again. I was lucky enough to be there to witness it, and it was quite something. I'm rarely an emotional person when it comes to being in a live concert. I enjoy it as a nearly religious experience. I love live music, but I did find that to be a bit of an emotional show. There was one point where I was almost welling up. I think it was the song Silver, one of my absolute favorites. And they had a particular way that they did that, which I'll get to in a moment, which just was so freaking beautiful. I could barely handle it. And it's also an odd thing to watch a band play their last gig. Like every song feels like it's the last time they might ever play this. It was a moment you can't really process and can't really take in. And I got the impression from watching the band members on stage that they were also kind of struggling to take it in. Half of them was, performing this as well as possible. Another time they were kind of looking around being like, holy shit. It was quite a special occasion all around. Now, they were supported by rival schools, so I saw their set beforehand. Quite enjoyed that. I've been a fan of a couple of their songs in the past. Used by Glue especially is an amazing song. So it was very nostalgic to see them playing an opening set there for 100 Reasons. And they were one of the bands that 100 Reasons played a lot of gigs back in the day with. So it was a lovely full circle moment for them to be supporting them at their last gig here at the Royal Albert Hall. Now, the set list was packed with gold. They opened with the song Glorious Sunsets off their most recent album back in 2023, which is so freaking beautiful and is a wonderful scene setter for the entire concert that was to come. Thoroughly enjoyed hearing that song live. It's only the second time I've heard that live because they played it at Download Festival, but it is a brilliant song. The chorus is just tremendous. So that was really setting the scene for a jubilant, glorious evening to come. Now, their set list was packed with hits, as you might imagine, of a last ever headline show. So opened with A Glorious Sunset, then they played Answers off of Ideas Above Our Station. That was their debut album. They actually played a bunch of songs off of that. That's really the thing that catapulted them into the mainstream awareness in the rock universe, and pop as well. They played Top of the Pops at one point. But they played Answers, which is fantastic. Also, I'll just go through the track list, and then we'll talk about it as we go along. Then they played Stories with Unhappy Endings. There were some songs that I've heard here and there, but haven't rinsed as much as that album in particular, Ideas Above Our Station. So it's a really big testament to how prolific they were, that there were several songs on first reading of the set list. I was like, I'm not sure if I know that one. And then they played, like, I do know this song, of course. So there's lots of that going on. They played Slow Learner, Waveform, This Mess, My Symphony, The Old School Way, Breathe Again. Then they had a little interlude for a bit of a breather, and during that time, the string section came on stage. So we could see there were empty chairs on stage, waiting for someone to be there. Having interviewed Colin Doran on this channel, on the podcast, I knew, because he'd said there's going to be a string section joining them at some point. So that's when that happened. They came on stage, and then the full band joined for apparently a live debut of the song Done, which was beautiful. What I particularly enjoyed is that the string section were not just mirroring the lead guitar parts, for example, or vocal melodies. It was brand new instrumentation in some moments to elevate, add a little bit of extra grandeur to the moment, and just make this sound that was already big and hard rock and huge at times. But they'd Done, and then they played I'll Find You, which is one of my absolute favorite songs of 100 Reasons. And there were a couple of moments maybe where I thought the strings slightly overpowered some of the other parts guitar-wise, but that might have just been them finding the right balance in the live scenario, because in Silver, the song they played next, which was my favorite song of theirs, I think, it was perfection. What the string element added was so glorious that is the moment I became like a little bit emotional It was beautiful. It was such a celebration of that song and this band and the sound, and to hear all the audience as well singing along the lead guitar part as that song came on. It was just just a massive celebration and a wonderful thing to have been a part of. And it just, that setting, I kept looking around at this venue and then back to the stage to see this bare bones rock band now with some strings attached. It was just glorious. It really was. That song for me was, I think, the highlight. That was marvelous. They then played The Perfect Gift and then Oratorio, another one from Ideas Above Our Station. Played Replicate, Falter, beautiful song, Kill Your Own. And then they had a 4-song encore, which is completely fair enough to have 4 whole songs because it's the last gig ever. They did What You Get, Remus, No Way Back, and closing on If I Could. And that song was tremendous. You knew that would be the last song at the end of the encore. And it was, joyous occasion. Everyone in the audience was giving every last bit of energy that they had at that stage to sing along, jump along, mosh. There was a couple of crowd surfers. It was fun to see in the Royal Albert Hall. Glorious, beautiful, tremendous. They performed excellently. They really did. They were very polished and yet somehow human and raw band. They really tread that line very well, I thought. And having the strings involved in there as well helped just make it this huge, epic send-off that I think they're deserving of, for sure. It was a wonderful thing. Ambitious thing for them to look to play a gig at such a massive venue such as the Royal Albert Hall, but being as it was their final gig, it made all the sense in the world, and I think they nailed it. And it was so good. It's so good that you're like, oh, it's a shame that that's the last one. Because why can't we have more moments like this? But what a rare opportunity to see the end of a band live, knowing that it's their last show. That was quite an odd thing to process. And I think I'll still be processing that over the coming days and weeks. It was really an exceptional thing. So, tip of the cap. Well done to 100 Reasons and everyone involved in putting on that show, but also their career and all of the bands that they've inspired, certainly in the UK, but also I'm sure internationally as well, with the raw energy and catchiness and rock that they brought with their music. It was a real honor and a pleasure to see them perform that at the Royal Albert Hall. What an evening. Won't be forgetting that one anytime soon. But it won't be the last gig I go to. So if you want to see more live gig reviews such as this one, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'll be going to some festivals coming up this summer. I'm going to be checking out Download Festival, of course. I go every year. Radar Festival I'll be checking out as well. I'll be going to Glastonbury, but less for the rock bands because it's not really a rock music festival. But I might do a video about that. We'll see. But there's also lots of standalone gigs and tours and things I'll be checking out as well. So do subscribe if you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another video very soon.